What's up? What's happening, everybody? Yet again, somehow we are doing the Pizza Palace, and it is your boy Robert Winstanley, and of course, Hollywood Sean Murphy. How are you, sir?
I I'm sorry. Who are you? I'm so Hollywood. I
That's
almost
right.
I almost forget who you are on a week to week
You're just
basis.
in that ivory tower that somehow keeps getting taller.
Yeah, that castle that just keeps getting grander, Robert.
That,
That's just the life I live. Being
I hate you
so
so much.
so rich, so Hollywood esque.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
um,
right.
live the craziest lifestyle. Yeah, no, things are
Of
good,
course.
man. It's obviously a lot of good stuff happening. This is a really big week, but with that, it's just not a lot of time to rest. So it's a lot
Mm.
of awesome stuff's been happening, and I'm super excited. And we have really cool stuff coming down the way for the rest of the week. But right now, it's just I am making it through the day, and that's where we're at.
I feel yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, as we were talking behind the scenes here, this is our second take. We were talking about how basketball season's kind of in this weird
Uh huh.
place right now. Now, we won't rehash it all again, but
Mm-hmm.
I was going to bring up that college basketball is going on. I haven't watched much of it because I have never cared about March Madness at all, and that almost is entirely linked to the fact that Notre Dame is never relevant.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's very hard for me to give a fuck. Now, we were in it for the first time since 2017,
Uh
and
huh.
then we were immediately out of it again. And
Yeah.
and so now I'm back to not giving a fuck again.
Well, if that's a sport that you're waiting until Notre Dame is up towards the top of the class again, you're gonna wait a
Uh-huh.
long time because Notre Dame is not a basketball school. You think
Nope.
you think they struggle getting guys for the football team? Try getting guys for the basketball team, man. Like one and done.
Yeah, it's just one of those
Well,
things.
especially in the era of the one and done. Like, hey, I have an idea. Let's try to get a guy who wants to go to a highly academic intensive school who wants to only play 1 year to go to a Catholic school, Notre Dame. Like, sure, yeah, it's Catholic,
Yeah.
so they got plenty of communion wine. They got everything ready to go, like party about to be crazy. But at the same
Yeah.
time, like let's just be real, it's not made for the one and done era. But hey, neither
No,
is
for sure.
neither
It
is
is what it
winning.
is.
Neither is winning because Kentucky sucked ass and got knocked out literally opening weekend.
Yeah, that made me happy and also made me money. Because I bet on the other team, so that was pretty cool.
That was a
Um,
really good call.
I've got a couple of those still going. I've got a couple of bets that could win me a lot of money if they win the championship. So
Who,
we'll
who
see
you
how it
got?
goes.
Who you got winning the championship?
I've got a couple of them. So my bracket at work that's not for any money.
Uh huh.
I have consistently had UCLA as my pick.
Interesting.
hmm and then let me see here.
I'm glad you didn't put money on that one.
No. Well, actually, I might actually have money on them. Let me check. I was just trying to get my
Oh
stupid
Jesus.
FanDuel to sense my face. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I do have money on UCLA.
Of course you do.
Let's see. I've got money on Villanova,
Okay.
Duke, North Carolina, UCLA, Michigan, St. Peter's, and that's it.
You did all those, but not one on Gonzaga.
Well, yeah, because their odds are the favorites, so that doesn't win you much.
Right.
Whereas, like, so a lot of these are like just dollar bets or whatever, so they wouldn't win me
Right.
much, except if North Carolina wins, then a dollar turns into $200.
Oh,
Yeah, because I put it at the very beginning of the tournament.
that's a good
So
call. Hey, go North
it,
Carolina.
that one and also St. Pete, like St. Peter's, if they win, a dollar turns into 300 because when I bet on them, I bet them at 30 or plus 30,000. So
Oh my
like,
gosh.
yeah, I bet on them literally before the bracket even started because I was just like, well, that's when you're going to get the best odds.
Oh, absolutely.
So I also have $5 on the NBA championship. I only have one team that I have selected to win the championship.
It's the
They're the stone cold lock of the century of the week.
It's the Miami Heat.
It is not the Miami Heat.
Wow. Is it the Phoenix Suns?
Sean, I'm trying to make money.
Is it the Warriors?
No.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
it's somebody who had plus 3,000 odds to win the championship. I put $5 down because that would win me
Do they have those
155.
odds now, or did they have those odds like a while ago?
A little bit of a while ago.
Is it the
But
Celtics?
it is not the Celtics, but I chose them because I felt like they have a realistic chance at winning the championship. And I felt like they were one of the teams with bad odds that actually would give me a lot of money that could win the championship. Because if I put like $5 on the Warriors, I would get like $4 back.
All right, I need to know who.
All right. They have an outstanding young rookie who I think is the next Kobe Bryant.
An outstanding young rookie that's the next Kobe Bryant.
That is correct, Sean. Or he's not a rookie, but he's just a young talent.
Okay, now you got me even more lost.
His name is Ja Morant.
Oh my god. This
I
man
have
dead ass just called Ja Morant a rookie?
Well, I meant like a young player. Like he's not been in the league very long. That's what I meant.
I
I
mean,
feel like within like your first few years, you're a rookie in a way. Like you're
no.
not like an aged veteran.
Well, you're not a rookie. After year one, you are no longer a rookie. That is how
Yeah,
rookies
but
work.
I mean rookie in sort of the colloquial, like kind of like, oh, you're still kind of a young gun. Like you're still an up and comer. Like let's settle down.
That's a
It's like, oh, everything you've done so far is cute, but like, let's, they're not there yet. They're not like a superstar yet. Like John Morant is like an up and coming superstar. But he's not
if
like a superstar yet.
okay, but like if I went into the dictionary and I looked up and I looked up rookie, do you think they
Do
would?
it right now. Google it right now. Google the definition of a rookie.
You got it, because there's no chance in hell I pull up a dictionary and it has in the dictionary. It means
Yeah,
All
but I
right.
feel like it's not outlandish to call somebody in like what's this? His third season? Is this his third year?
Yep. All right. So a new
Here we go.
recruit, especially in the Army or police, but a member of an athletic team in his or her first full season in that sport, suck a nut.
Okay, but I'm just saying though, like it just basically is a way better term than saying like a young talent or an up and comer. Like that just sounds kind of gay. So it's like a rookie seems kind of, it's just like, yeah, you're the young guy on the team that's hopefully gonna be something,
Why not just say young superstar?
'Cause that sounds even worse. That sounds like some
What?
WWE shit.
But
It's
at
like, oh,
least that's true.
these young WWE superstars going for the Intercontinental Championship live on Fox.
I hate this
That's some
conversation.
Michael Cole shit.
I hate this conversation. This is.
Listen, you're being too fucking technical. No one gives a fuck. The point is that he's a young guy and he's on a team that I think could win the championship this year because I do pick the Grizzlies as the championship winners this year.
Well, you're out of your gourd if you think the Grizzlies are winning it this year. But I like your enthusiasm. Listen, the Grizzlies from a Ja Morant standpoint, they are awesome. Don't get me wrong. However, the problem they're going to run into is in the playoffs when they ultimately can double team Ja Morant and they can put together a plan specifically to slow down Ja Morant. They don't have that second guy that can go out there and give them dependable minutes and pick up the slack. You know, they have guys that can turn into that guy. They have Jaren Jackson Jr., who is a really good big. You know, he can stretch the floor. He could guard multiple positions. They have a guy like Desmond Bane, who's a really good defensive player for them, can occasionally have some good scoring nights. But I like what Memphis has going for the future, but they're overachieving right now in comparison to where they were supposed to be. And I just don't think they have the depth to get it done when it comes down to it. Now, Ja Morant's a hooper, and like
For sure.
every year they've progressively gotten better and better in postseason play. And like, it's just one of those things where like they could even just make it like they could even like let John Morant still get his and then shut down everybody else. Like that's another realistic strategy. And that's something that's been
Right.
used before. So like again, I just don't know who's that second guy that's going to be able to step up for them because right now they have a lot of young guys who can play well in the regular season. It's a whole different atmosphere when it's the postseason. So that's going to be the one thing for them. Now, if they face like the Lakers first round, they'll be able to have a breeze and, that'll kind of be a resting place for them. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Fuck you.
I,
Aren't the Lakers playing the Pelicans?
uh, they either played them tonight or they play. Oh, like in the play-in, you mean? Yeah, they would play the
Yes.
play-in and the
See, senor.
play-in. Yeah, in the play-in they would play the New Orleans Pelicans, which
Hell yeah.
which is insane to me, by the way.
I'm very much looking forward to that because my strategy is this to win our bet is that the Lakers play the Pelicans, which they can easily beat.
Uh-huh.
And then the Nets have to play the Raptors with no Kyrie Irving and they lose.
Okay, but here's the problem, and here's what you're completely not bringing into the equation because I can tell. So, so if you look at the standings and how the play in
Uh-huh.
and how the play in works, so as of if the play in were to start today, the Nets would have to play the Raptors. That's true. However,
See, senor.
since they're the higher seeds, if they lose, they get a second chance and play the winner of Charlotte and Atlanta. So,
They get a second play in. Why is there two play ins? What kind of bullshit is this?
well,
What kind of
well,
participation trophy ass bullshit?
well, here's what it is. So, if you're a 7th and 8th seed, because
Mm-hmm.
traditionally you would have made the playoffs, you essentially get 2 tries at the play-in because, that's the advantage of being a higher seed. And then the other teams, the 9 and 10, whoever wins,
Mm-hmm.
they face the loser of the other playing game.
Mm-hmm.
And so if the Lakers win, they would play the loser of Timberwolves and Clippers. And so they would have to win 2 games in order to get in. The Nets only have to win 1. But if they lose 1,
Mm-hmm.
they get a second chance. So,
Well, in that case, then I will become the biggest Charlotte and or um Atlanta fan you've ever seen. Although then the Lakers would still have to win that second game, wouldn't they?
they would still have to win. They would still
So
have to
either
win.
way, the Lakers have to win 2 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so yeah, either way, they have to win 2 rounds.
Yeah, no matter what, you have to rely on the Los Angeles Lakers to win
Son
not
of a
one
bitch.
game, but 2
Sure.
games in a row. You have to.
Would there, if the Lakers win against the Pelicans, do they play another single game like play-in
Mhm.
type thing?
Mm-hmm.
Who would they play?
They would play the losers of the Timberwolves and the Clippers. So they would probably play either the Timberwolves in Minnesota or a potential matchup against Kawhi Leonard if he comes back in the Los Angeles Clippers.
Is there a possibility of him coming back?
A report suggests he's ramping up. Apparently, he's playing apparently like Skip Bayless has been like the closest source on Kawhi Leonard, and apparently,
What the fuck?
isn't that weird?
That's very weird.
But apparently, like reports suggest like he's ramping up contact. He's playing like 2v2, 3v3. Like he apparently is. He's apparently feeling pretty good.
I'm gonna need the Clippers to lose that, and I'm gonna need it to be a game against Minnesota. Because the Lakers can beat Minnesota, but if Kawhi Leonard comes back, then we're fucked.
100%. Well, I don't know if you guys could beat Minnesota. I mean, you could in a one game, especially because it's Minnesota. Like
In one game, I definitely think the Lakers can win that, and I
They
think that the
can?
Nets have a significantly harder path. As far as like the teams that they play are worse. Like if the Lakers had to play any of the guys that you're playing, the Lakers would be fucked beyond belief.
I still think the Lakers are fucked beyond belief. I mean,
Fuck you, Sean.
well,
There's still time.
well, you know what? You know what the Nets have that the Lakers don't have?
Mm,
Kevin Durant.
what's that?
And Kevin Durant is
But they
actually
have someone better, Sean.
ooh,
They have LeBronius James.
not better than Kevin Durant. LeBron,
He certainly is.
that is quite literally not true. Like LeBron can only get it done on the offensive end. And like he could score he's proving he could score a shit ton of points. He can lead the league in
Mm,
scoring, but it doesn't affect
mm.
winning literally at all. The only way it affects winning, the Lakers can only win a game when LeBron James scores 50 points. They have only won one or two games past the All-Star break where LeBron has not scored 50 points in a game.
Yikes. I Now, are we talking who's better just currently or better careers in
Oh,
general?
I'm talking currently. I like careers in
Okay,
general. Obviously, it's LeBron James, but like if we're talking
right.
present day, who do you want to represent you in the playoffs? Like right now, like if I'm trying to win a
Playoffs.
championship, it's Kevin freaking Durant. Kevin Durant. LeBron's 36. He's on a bum Lakers team. Like I would still and here's the thing, like Ben Simmons can still come back. He might not. I don't freaking know. Apparently, he has a herniated disc in his back.
Right. I
So,
think what he actually has is being a little bitch syndrome. But I think if you put LeBron James or Kevin Durant on the same team, like you give them the exact same team and just swap them out, who does better? I think it's LeBron James.
no, it's Kevin Durant. I mean, first of all, they both have terrible rosters right now. Like unequivocally, both are bad. They're in the same situations. They have old, beaten to hell players that can't play good rotation minutes anymore. Both are having to score heavy and carry the load offensively for their team. The difference is that Kevin Durant, this team was at the first seed when Kevin Durant was in the lineup. And then Kevin Durant goes out of the lineup and they tank and collapse down to the 8th seed. LeBron's been there most of the year and they've been in the same spot. Things haven't gotten better. When LeBron was in the lineup, they lose. When LeBron was out of the lineup, they still
They
lose.
look, yeah.
This team, like this Nets team, was literally free falling when they still had James Harden, and even when Kyrie Irving was on the court, when Kevin Durant didn't play. All of a sudden, Kevin Durant comes back. They kicked the shit out of the 76ers in Philly against James Harden and Joel Embiid.
That was
Kevin,
a
Dur-
wild game.
Kevin Durant, literally in his second or third game back, drops a 50 burger in the Barclays Center. Like, that's Kevin Durant. like I just, as crazy of a stat sheet that LeBron's putting up right now, it's
Yep.
meaningless. It's meaningless. I'm sorry, but it's meaningless.
I
It means
I
something
will
in the
contend
sense
though,
of,
I think that the Lakers have a worse team than the Nets, even in general. And like
well,
also when fully healthy, obviously, like if you gave LeBron, Kyrie, and I would prefer James Harden significantly over Ben Simmons, but of course that's neither here nor there at this point. But
right.
I would prefer those guys over Anthony Davis and
Oh,
whoever the fuck you would consider the three on the Lakers.
of
Who
course.
would be the
Of
three?
course. Yeah, but like the argument that LeBron would be doing better than Brooklyn in Brooklyn than Kevin Durant would is, or that he's doing better in LA like than Kevin Durant. Like I just don't think that's like I don't think there's any basis to where that's true. Like Kevin Durant right now is a better defensive player than LeBron. Offensive
Yeah,
on
that's true.
offensively, Kevin Durant's always been the best offensive player in the league whenever he's healthy. Like LeBron, like he might be putting it up on the stat sheet right now. A lot of his is volume. No one, like there are a few players that have done it as efficiently and scored in as many different ways as Kevin Durant can. Like I just don't think there's any like there's almost I don't know if there's almost any point in their games right now that you could say LeBron James is better. I would say passing, his vision definitely is,
Sure.
but like the overall, like just like who is the most skilled basketball player in the world? It's Kevin Durant. You know?
Yeah, I think it's close. I think it's closer than it's, maybe being made out to be here. But I yeah, I don't know. It's how many, by the way, how many championships? This isn't to my point, but how many championships does Kevin Durant have? Is
He
it the one
he has he
with the
has he
Warriors?
has the two. He has the two with the
What's
Warriors.
the other one?
Well,
Oh, he
they
got two with the Warriors?
yeah, so they won the first series against Cleveland in 5, and then they won it 2 years in a row. They won the second one in 4. So,
That's right. That's right.
yeah.
I somehow forgot about that. I was trying to figure out, I was just like, how many does he have at this point? Because
Yeah.
everyone, for a little while here when things were going south for the Nets, um, everyone was making out to say that his legacy is going to be in question and all this kind of shit and blah 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 and whatever. I'm like, the dude
No.
has championships, doesn't he? I was just like, what is
Well,
everyone talking about?
I think Kevin Durant lost respect for the way that he won those championships.
Yes.
I just think him going to Golden State to certain people is always going to affect their minds when, like, in reality, LeBron did the exact same thing both when he went to Miami and when he went back to Cleveland. So, and when he went to Los Angeles, he went there with the intent of building a super team. So, he
Well,
might not have said that at the time, but he went there with the intention
yes.
of building a super team. He went to Miami, and he might not have been on a team that was established and already made it to the finals, but he went there with two other superstars, like two of the top 10 players in the league. So this argument that LeBron didn't also make an objectively weak move by leaving his team to go team up with other superstars to make it easier to win a championship. Like, it's the only difference is that the guys weren't already there. Like, that's the only difference. So I just
Well, the part that I was going to disagree a little bit is that like the Warriors were already a championship team and they would have continued to be a championship team and they probably would have won those championships without Kevin Durant. Is the only thing that I would contend. Whereas if you take LeBron out of this situation for most of those other teams, I don't think that they would have won the championships.
right, but like, again, that doesn't change the fact of whether or not it was a weak move on the end of LeBron. That doesn't change that it wasn't weak.
Well,
They're both
I
weak.
mean, I get what you're saying. I think that one's significantly worse than the other.
I
Like
mean,
significantly.
I mean, we can go over the semantics of which one's worse. They're both cowardice in form, and on top of that, I just think that we just like to only blame, like, we like to conveniently leave truths out, like, with that kind of
Well,
stuff.
yeah, but I'm saying like if you take out Kevin Durant, it doesn't really affect that Warriors team. But if you take out LeBron James, then there's no way in hell Cleveland wins that championship. Especially the Lakers aren't
I
winning that
don't think
championship that they won in the bubble.
I don't
I
think
think the
the
Heat have a chance, but it still would be a
I
struggle.
don't think the Warriors would have won two other championships if Kevin Durant wasn't on their team. I think they would have been done winning championships, especially after blowing the 3-1 lead. I think the psyche of the team would have been messed with ever since Kevin Durant left. He left, and then they became a last place team. Some of that was because Steph
Well,
Curry was
that's
out when.
unfair.
Well, it's true. It also, on top of that,
It's
Steph
technically
Curry,
true, but
it's
they literally lost their two best players.
well, Klay Thompson was out with injury. That's true.
Right, for two
But
years.
yep, that's true. I agree. I was getting to that. But also, Steph Curry did miss time due to injury. However,
Right.
but again, the even if they were on the court, and as we're seeing right now, like, they're towards the top of, like, the Western Conference. We still haven't seen Clay be the same, but like, the Warriors haven't been the same since Kevin Durant left. That's just objectively true.
Right, but I feel like that's also like kind of manipulating the history of it in a way of being like, oh well, see, they suck, and I'm like, well, yeah, because their
Well, I'm
two
not.
best players were out.
Well, I'm not saying. I'm not
Like, no
saying.
shit.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. Like, obviously, like I said, yeah, Steph was injured, Clay was injured. Like, I acknowledge that. Like, that's definitely there. I'm just saying that,
Right.
like, that Kevin Durant had zero impact on the Warriors winning championships is just not true. He was the one when they were in the finals, he was the one that was put up those monster performances and got them over the top. Kevin Durant was the best player on the Golden State Warriors when he was there. So, like, I just this
Yeah.
and there's probably few players in the league that affect winning now more than Kevin Durant either. I mean, again, Brooklyn was a completely different team when he was on it this year than when he was off it. And now that he's actually back, we see Brooklyn back in the winning column, actually consistently getting wins, and he's getting it done all over the court. And the crazy thing is he can come back from injury and look almost unaffected, like every time. It doesn't seem like he has to shake off any cobwebs. Like the dude's just ready to go at all times.
Right. I think that the point here essentially was just that of this of like I'm not saying that Kevin Durant made absolutely no impact whatsoever. I just think generally speaking that I think there's a high likelihood the Warriors could have won those two championships without him. And I think that him leaving the Warriors is not the reason why the Warriors became a worse team. It has
Well,
almost nothing to do with that.
injury was a big core of it for sure. But
It has everything to do with that because especially now, like saying like the Warriors look kind of whatever right now, it's like, well, yeah, no shit, because Klay Thompson maybe shouldn't even be playing basketball ever again. Like he's lucky that he's out there playing basketball at this point. And he hasn't played for 2 full seasons. So I mean, it's one of those things where I'm like, I just think that him leaving didn't make the Warriors. We'll never know
right.
what impact him leaving the Warriors had. We'll never know because the Warriors weren't healthy. I think if the Warriors had stayed healthy, I think they would have been just fine. I'm also kind of saying is that with like LeBron, I think the Heat would have more or less been fine without
Right,
him
but
because
again,
they obviously still had Dwayne Wade and all that
right,
kind of thing.
but again, I'm not even sure why we're arguing the past stuff because I said I over the course of their careers, I'm not arguing that LeBron affects winning more, that LeBron's a better player. But right
Sure.
now, you can't make an argument that LeBron James is better than Kevin Durant. You can't. He's not
Hmm.
in any aspect of the game.
Well, the only thing I would contend is what about availability?
They both they both miss significant period of times. They both have missed 20 some games this year. They just missed them
That's
at
true.
different times. So availability is equal if anything. You know, like they both are injury prone. I mean, maybe Kevin Durant's a little bit more injury prone than LeBron, but they both are
Right.
injury prone.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's
So,
kind of strange. They are in weird spots in their career in general because like LeBron, I think as much as I dislike him in general as a fan of the sport and as much as I dislike him in general, I don't know him obviously as a person, but as a person from what I've seen of his personality, I don't generally like it. But at the same time, it's strange to me because I just feel like he is going to have a Michael Jordan effect where people are going to look back and kind of forget a lot of the negative about him. And I'm hoping
right.
that he does get his flowers in a way because, like, Michael Jordan was kind of also a dick. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, but we all forgive it and we give him his flowers like we've never seen. And I feel
Yeah.
like LeBron, in a weird way, I almost feel like he's hated on more than Jordan was even in Jordan's prime,
Well, even
because
well,
it's
even
just weird to me.
yeah, well, even with Jordan's prime though, like they're like just everything that they had to deal with was completely different because LeBron played in the era where of social media. He grew up and his entire career happened over the evolution of the digital age. Like
That's true.
there's the famous photo of LeBron James at Raw when he was like a rookie for the Cleveland Cavaliers when he was taking pictures with his flip phone.
With the flip phone,
Yeah,
yes, and he had a Yankee hat on or some
uh-huh.
bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now he was literally in a crypto.com commercial of a digital version of that kid. You know what I mean? Like that's
Mm-hmm.
like so just the amount that things have changed like even just over the course of his lifetime. But like Michael Jordan, he was swamped and he had to do all these crazy things. Imagine if that Bulls team had social media.
Mm.
The Vegas trip
Oh, for sure.
the Vegas trip would have never happened. The Dennis Rodman would have been screwed if he lived in this age. So, and I think
I
Michael,
also think that maybe the Bulls would be less glorified in a way because I
yeah,
think some people would definitely have looked at them as, oh, well, Jordan's got it easy. He's on a super team. You know what I mean? Because people look at Scottie Pippen or they look at Dennis Rodman, who had won a championship with the Pistons and stuff like that, whatever. Like, obviously not for the first three Bulls championships, but I mean for the next three. Like, I think people kind of they act like Michael Jordan just won those championships by himself and like he had absolutely nobody on those Bulls teams and he was the only reason and like, oh well,
Mm-mm.
LeBron has it so easy or has a, because he's got all this. I'm like, dude, he had Scottie Pippen,
Right.
Dennis Rodman, he had fucking Steve Kerr. I mean, he had like all these guys that I'm like, these were really, really tremendous players
Well,
that
not
are
only
very comparable to a lot of the guys that are on LeBron's
yeah,
teams.
well, not only that, but also the there's a lot to be said about how much the Cleveland Cavaliers front office really failed to put a team around LeBron his first years.
Exactly.
The best they could do was Shaquille O'Neal in 2009, which I'm sorry, but
I
Sha-
still can't believe that's real, by the way.
Shaquille O'Neal in 2009 was not it. And it was just it was just not a good front office. They didn't really have much sense of direction, and it showed as soon as LeBron left because obviously LeBron leaving, that just not only did it tank the front like the franchise, it tanked the Cleveland economy. Like
Yeah,
it's something that it literally shaked the foundation of Ohio. They weren't ready for
true.
him to leave. So, yeah, I just think I think LeBron will be remembered really fondly. I think he'll have I think by the end of his career, I think a lot of people will consider him the greatest of all time because a lot of people already do right now. And I will say the best compliment I can give LeBron is as he keeps making all these milestones and keeps breaking all these records, my argument gets really hard. And
For sure.
and he has the Tom Brady effect where like he's a fucking annoying pimple that just won't go
I was
away.
just going to bring that up, by the way. I feel like in today's social media age, it's very strange because you can see exactly where the cutoff happens when
Mm-hmm.
the internet is introduced in like 2001, basically when things started to get like progressively more internet based.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we look at legendary players significantly more through this lens of like wishing for their downfall and waiting for them to fall off and like all this kind of stuff. Whereas like fans from like the 90s and before would look at guys and they wanted them to go on forever. They
Well,
never wanted to see them ever fall off. Mickey Mantle, Magic Johnson, Larry
yeah.
Bird, like no matter how big the team is, no
Uh-huh.
matter how many championships, no matter how whatever, like people still wanted those guys to succeed.
Right.
And nowadays it's weird because now we look at it as like, oh, fuck that guy. And oh, he's overblown and he's
Yeah.
this or that. Like we want to take away all of the trophies and accolades and put asterisks on every tiny little nook and cranny of an athlete. Whereas we could go back and we could cherry pick any player's stats and give him asterisks all over the place. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. And I also think it's interesting though, because even with like the rise of media, like as we were talking about that, I think we're also like really unfair and like we criticize people like very inconsistently. Like for example, for Kevin
Mm,
Durant, we criticize that he left. Uh with Damian Lillard, we criticize him for not leaving. We
true.
we
But
criticize
the
Brett.
second he leaves, by the way, everyone will lose their minds.
Yep, it's going to be wow. I thought you were going to be loyal till the end. I thought you were going to try to do everything for that franchise, but then you cowered it out like the rest of them. You hypocrite. Like Giannis, same thing. When he wanted to sign in Milwaukee, okay, you're never going to win in Milwaukee. It's literally like the second a guy isn't happy or they're not winning, we try to plant the idea that they should be going somewhere else. And then the second they go somewhere else, that same person that was telegraphing that was like, I would never do that. How dare you? Like
Yes.
it's so like I think that's for me, like where I get really like that's where like I just get like kind of like pissed off about it for lack of better terms because like in my opinion, it's ironic because Kevin Durant, like I like where Kevin Durant gets a lot of the criticism, the thing that people don't realize is LeBron doing what he did going to Miami is what
Mm-hmm.
opened the door for this to happen in the first place because
Right.
LeBron was the one to trigger in stars heads that if you want better, if you want to go and if you want to hold these organizations accountable and you actually want to see yourself be in a position to win championships, you have to hold their feet to the fire too because if they're complacent and they're just like, "Oh, well, we have time. We have you. We're going to be cheap. We're going to, we're not going to spend the money to do what we have to do in order to make this team actually viable."
Right.
If these players, even under contract, can still actively get themselves into a new organization, like you don't even have to honor your contract anymore. That is where we've gotten. Where one thing about the Michael Jordan era was it was like, and like I think why people like it more is because it was the, oh well, you win where you're drafted, but at the same time there was a lot of things about that were just objectively shittier. So
Yes.
that's why like I get really bothered by the Kevin Durant thing, because to me that's where like it's like he couldn't win, because if he stayed in Oklahoma City, which again we've seen now multiple times that Russell Westbrook was not a worthy running mate to win a championship. Like
100%.
like we have gotten that proven now. Like at a certain
And that
point,
the Thunder is an organization that still doesn't seem to know what they're doing.
right? Well, like they're accumulating all these assets. They're like
Which
they're
who knows what the fuck's gonna happen with that?
right. Like they're gonna have a ton of shots, and they could get some. They're gonna get some really good talent potentially for years to come. But at the same time,
They're
it's
hoping to literally back into a championship. Like they're hoping to just like fall ass backwards into the most luck ever. Just throw a bunch of picks at the wall and hope to Jesus it makes a team.
well, what you hope you can do is you can, if you're doing it the right way, you wanna get all these picks, and you want to eventually get to a point where you have players that are good enough that you trade a shit ton of picks to put proven guys
Right.
around them. So like they're gonna have like 12 MVPs on their roster again someday. It's just a matter of how and when and why and where and what and who. Yeah.
Yeah, I think also to kind of wrap this up a little bit is that I think there is a line to some degree of where it does cross into the like, okay, do you have enough superstars on the team? Like, Jesus,
Right.
this is getting ridiculous.
Right.
Like, there is a bit of a line. But at the same time, yeah, as we mentioned, and especially guys like Damian Lillard and stuff like that or whatever, like it is very strange to me when people criticize them going to a team that has good players on it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just literally if he goes to a team that has like just Kyrie Irving, let's
Right.
say, like him, it's just him and Kyrie and then some other really good players. People would be like, oh, he's going to a super team. It's like, it's not a super team, you dick. It's just a team that has really good players and another superstar. And like,
Right.
tell me when the last time specifically in the modern era that you saw any team in any sport win a championship that didn't have at least a handful of superstar talents on it. Like, that's just not how it works.
There's only one, and it's the 03-04 Pistons. Like literally, they are the only
Right.
one. They're like, and they are the anomaly. They like, there's
Exactly.
the only other team that you can point at and maybe make that argument is like the 2011 Dallas Mavericks that had Dirk Nowitzki, who was a superstar. They had Jason
Sure.
Kidd, but Jason Kidd was out of his prime. Like you could make an argument like that they really only had one superstar, but even then, they still had a lot of really good players on their team. Like they beat the Miami Heat with LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. That no scrub teams beating that team. So
I think people also weirdly unfairly criticize, like, even if they're all homegrown and drafted, like people look at the Warriors and they'll be like, well, they're just, this bullshit super team. I'm like, they drafted 90% of their team
literally
until Kevin Durant happened.
they were
Like,
they
what
were
the
like,
fuck?
well, because people like they just get mad. Like winning gets people mad, which obviously I see the irony in that. Don't even acknowledge the irony of that. We don't have to. But anyway, go fuck yourself. Anyway, in the NBA world, happy place, happy thoughts. With like, it's just one of those things where like with the Warriors, they were so good, and like people didn't pay attention all those years where they
Yes.
were developing. Like people didn't see that like Steph Curry was actually this really good rising young star, and that Klay Thompson was this defensive, juggernaut combo guard that could also shoot a shit ton of threes. Like they didn't see the bench that was being built with them along those years. So, like even Milwaukee's a
People,
team, like Milwaukee snuck up on a lot of people, but they were working on that core for years,
very long time. It's also weird to me, like people, they'll look at a city that's
Mm-hmm.
never won basically, or
Right.
won a zillion years ago, and then they suddenly become good and they win like one championship, and now everyone's just like, oh, well, that's just the Warriors. They're just always good. They're like the new Patriots or whatever. And I'm just like, dude, literally before like 2013, they were an irrelevant franchise that not a single person owned the jersey of. No one
And
gave a fuck that they
yeah,
existed.
and now they're in the top 3 most valuable organizations in the NBA. They like
And the same thing happened with the Patriots too. Like before the
mm-hmm.
Patriots had Tom Brady, they were an irrelevant Cleveland Browns laughing stock nonsense team in New England that no
Yep.
one gave a flying fuck about. But now people hate them, and I'm just like, I mean, I get it now because now they're kind of established or whatever. But it's like
Kind of.
everyone, you win one championship, and yeah, but it's just like you win one championship and then all of a sudden you're like the Yankees. Everyone just acts like you've won 27
Well,
championships. I'm like, well, that just
well,
seems a little unfair. I'm
well,
like,
it's kind of well, again, like people like the underdog story, and so if you've won a
until
champ,
they win.
well, yeah, well, that's because at that point you're no longer the underdog. You've already won. That like you know
But
what I
that's
mean?
just so lame. It's so weird. It's like
Uh
if
huh.
the Rockies won a World Series, which actually they did, it's just like one of those weird things where it's like, oh, the underdog won. I'm so happy for them. But then immediately you hate them. Like if the Bengals had won the Super Bowl this year,
Yeah. Well,
people
it's
would have
like
been like so happy.
yeah.
They would have celebrated it. But if they went back again next year, everyone would hate them.
Oh yeah, now the Rams are going to be a team that everyone's like, oh, they're just a super team with Aaron Donald and Matt Stafford.
Exactly.
Which, by the way, Urban Meyer didn't even know who Aaron Donald was.
My
Um,
favorite thing.
my God, how
It's my favorite article I've ever read, dude. It's nuts. That athletic article is just
I
incredible.
haven't read the full article. I just knew that.
Please do because it's insanely stupid.
Oh my gosh, like how
He's such a tool.
he really is. You have to be such an egomaniac to walk into the NFL and not even know Aaron Donald.
Dude, the entire article really paints this picture that shows that he is one of the like least likable human beings on the planet. Like he just comes across, if all of this is exactly how it happened, and I believe it all, like he has got to just be the biggest douchebag. Like I have no idea how anyone could stand to be around this guy or in the same room. Like it's unbelievable.
Myers said he did a 6-month deep dive on the NFL that included interviews with his former Florida and Ohio State
Bruh.
players, as well as study of the salary cap. But multiple sources said Meyer was unfamiliar with star players around the league, including Debo Samuel, Jamal Adams, and Rams defensive tackle Aaron Donald. He
It's
said,
unbelievable.
"Who's this 99 guy on the Rams? I'm hearing he might be a problem for us."
Unbelievable.
Might be?
Absolutely unbelievable.
Oh my
Yeah, he's the guy
lord.
who literally ruined the Buccaneers playoff run. Essentially, well, actually, he's not. He is and he isn't because like we did what we had to do and we like double triple teamed him, but unfortunately, that left the room for his teammates to just completely destroy our offensive line because it was injured. But
Uh-huh.
you know, that was actually another thing I was going to bring up, and I've actually been kind of happy to see that this hasn't happened as much as I thought it would.
Mhm.
The Buccaneers winning a championship, I thought that a lot more people were going to look down at them and look at them as like, you know, being like a Patriots team and like just kind of like, oh, fuck them. And, you know, their championship was bought and all this kind of bullshit. Like, I thought people were really going to do that. And I also thought more people were going to bandwagon them and then suddenly become like Bucks fans and all this.
Uh-huh.
And I've been really happy that neither of those things have really
Well,
happened quite to the level that it tends to.
well, no one's going to think that they bought anything because it's Tom Brady. Like it's I just think it's like, you know, it's like to a lot of people it's very similar to the image that they had of New England immediately, because when Tom Brady's in a building, you inherently expect that building to be winning a Super Bowl because they've won over the past 20 years a third of the Super Bowls in the NFL. So it's when he's anywhere, it immediately brings credibility. It immediately brings a fandom because even though there's a lot of people that hate Tom Brady, there's a lot of people that love Tom Brady. And I also just think having Gronk as well, I think that's a wholesome player that a lot of people root for.
But this is exactly why I'm saying I'm surprised that not more people bandwagoned to this team. And I'm also surprised not as many haters came either. Like, I feel
Well,
like
a lot of
the
people just
Buccaneers.
bandwagon the Cowboys, even though they're not going to be good. Like it's just it's that
True.
that's where they are because all the because it's the same thing with like if the Lakers have any form of relevancy, they're going to root for the
Yeah.
Lakers, even if they
True.
know that they suck. Like it's
True.
like there's still a lot of Lakers fans, and I don't get it because your team is terrible. But it's like in the
Real
NFL.
bad.
In the NFL, it's like guys root for quarterbacks or they root for the Cowboys. And I feel like
That's
that's just how it
true.
goes.
I guess people don't really bandwagon teams quite as much as everyone thinks that they do in the NFL. They really don't.
Yeah.
The NBA, people bandwagon teams hard.
Oh,
Like as
but
soon as a
yeah.
star player or LeBron is on a team, they're wearing
Well,
whatever hat.
yeah. Well,
They're
in the NBA, you're
wearing,
rooting for players. Like it's much more player centric. Like for me, like I wouldn't say I'm a like I like the Grizzlies franchise and historically everything they've done. I love watching John Morant play. I've never been a fan of the Milwaukee Bucks, but Giannis Antetokounmpo, huge fan. You know what I mean? Like
for
like there's
sure.
really only one team whose colors I bleed, and it's the Pistons, red and blue. But even my fandom grows with a guy like Cade Cunningham in there. You know what I mean? Like it's
Right.
like obviously in sports, like the Tigers, I'm back in baseball this year, baby, because we're actually gonna have something to root for. But it's the same thing of like once you actually have players that actually give you a reason to be motivated. You know what I mean? Like it's like I'm
That's
not
fair.
like I didn't want to watch the Pistons when it was Rodney Stuckey and Jonas Jerebko and Austin Day and Henry Ellenson. You know what I mean?
Jesus
Kyle
Christ.
Singler.
This might be
Mhm.
the worst list of players I've ever heard in my entire life. That just hurt my soul. Um,
Detroit basketball.
I mean, Jesus, you want to talk about nails on a chalkboard? Those names hurt.
It really does, dude.
Um,
It really does.
Good Lord. You know what that was? That was like finding a bin of like basketball cards and you're like thumbing through them and you're like, who the fuck are these guys? And you just like throw them in the spokes
Oh
of your
yeah,
bike. It's
100%.
literally those random cards that you're like, I don't know who the fuck this guy is.
Yeah, those are like the ones that you're like, nope, not worth anything, and just throw
Yeah,
it
just
away.
nope. Ooh, LeBron.
Exactly.
Like every time.
100%. Yep.
So
100%.
kind of segueing through the Buccaneers here, we won't get too far into it, but I'm extremely happy that Tom Brady is back solely for the purpose of the fact that it makes my team continue to, be able to compete for a championship, which is nice because championship windows do not come around very often and they don't last very long, no matter how good your franchise is. Because even the Patriots, with as much success as they've had, even they are now finding themselves in a bit of a situation where they have to kind of figure out what their future is going to be and try to build themselves back into being any kind of contender. So I'm very happy to see the Buccaneers be able to compete again. I've got my 2 championship hats back here. I would love to add a third. And I'm also extremely happy to see all of the free agents just coming back in droves because I was really worried that I was going to lose some of my favorite players, many of which we drafted even. And so I'm happy to see them come back. And I'm also very happy to see the free agents that came simply because of Tom come back. Guys like Leonard Fournette. I'm extremely excited to see him back. But more importantly, I'm happy that we not only got back guys like Chris Godwin, but we also signed him to an extension and stuff like that. So I'm happy to see some of these guys be in Bucks colors, hopefully for years to come, whether we have Tom or not.
Tom Brady, you pathetic fucking loser. Retire.
You know,
Go the fuck away. You pathetic loser. Okay.
you've
whatever.
been saying this,
It-
and I just feel like
you know what? You know what I will say when Tom Brady
Yes.
retires for real? I'm in between 1 word and 6 words. So on one hand, part of me really just wants to go, bye. And that's that I have that as that's a really good option. But on the other hand, it would also feel good to say, rest in piss, won't be missed, and let him walk out the door because this guy just needs the attention. He is an addict to the game, to the glory, to the literally spent 1 month with his family and said, I would rather kill myself. Let's go play football. So, okay, whatever. We get another, because again, whatever, like, what can we say about Tom Brady that literally in either direction? Because if he goes out this year and they don't win a Super Bowl, he's still Tom Brady. If they go out and win another Super Bowl, it just adds to the ridiculous number of rings, and it doesn't change the greatness of Tom Brady. We'll just say 8 instead of 7. We'll just say that Tom Brady has 2 in Tampa instead of 1. Like that's where it's like he has every record that you could possibly want. He has literally everything. What else does this accomplish?
So I think that's exactly why I think you're wrong in every single conceivable way. Because I think that, number one, I don't think he does need the limelight or any of that bullshit. I don't think it's about the fame. I don't think it's about the attention. I think that it is entirely because this is a man who genuinely loves football with all his heart. I think he loves playing it more than anything else in the world. I don't think he knows how to do anything else. And he just really, truly enjoys the grind, the nitty gritty. I think he loves every single little aspect of it. And I think that the fact that he's still playing with nothing more to achieve shows that it is a very pure thing, in the sense that he does do it for the right reason, if you will, because he's there because he wants to succeed, or, well, he wants to play football. He just enjoys doing it. And of course he wants to do it at a high level and succeed. But I would say that, like, that's a lot more commendable. And I think that he is the exact opposite of pathetic. Whereas, like, a LeBron James, for instance, like, he's trying to still chase Michael Jordan because he doesn't have the same amount of championships. So if he was just stringing along and he was, past his prime, let's say, which obviously Tom Brady's not even close to past his prime, and neither really is LeBron, because he's been putting up good numbers. My point is, if he started, like, riding coattails of other teams to try to continue to collect rings to be better than Jordan, that would be pathetic. That would be if he was like 40 years old playing on, like, I don't know, the Milwaukee Bucks, trying to coattail ride and get himself some more rings. Pathetic, out of LeBron James. But which is unfair to criticize him for that, because he obviously has not done that. But you know what I'm saying. But Tom Brady, he hasn't done that. He's not, like, going and randomly coattail riding, good teams and just trying to pad stats and stuff like that so that he can beat, X player or this or that or whatever, because there is nobody to beat except himself. I think that this is just something that he loves to do, and it is what it is. And if you can still play at the level to where I still think he should have been MVP, the fact that Aaron Rodgers was MVP is the dumbest shit I've ever seen, because Aaron Rodgers is such a fucking fraud.
You're right. Tom Brady doesn't have enough. He deserves more. Like, you are absolutely
he doesn't
right.
deserve more. That's not it. That's not it. Again, I think that you're looking at it the wrong way. It's not that he
Robert, I mean,
deserves
do you
or
want
wants more.
do you want my serious thing? He can play whatever fucking sport he wants. I just don't care. I'm just sick of him. I'm not, like, because now it's like, okay, now he didn't retire. Like, on my end, I'm not gonna go, yay, thank Christ, because, like, this
yeah, no, I get that.
Like, this is gonna make my life better. Like, I'm just sick of him. I just want him to go away.
Well, right, because he's not a Detroit Lion, obviously.
I just want him to go away. Happy. If he played in the Detroit Lions uniform, I'd say cool, but go away. I just want him to go away. And I thought he was gonna go away. Damn it. I just want him gone. Please, God.
I feel like I don't understand it. I really don't understand the vitriol.
He's such a cuck. He's such a fucking, the look on his face, to the top hair on his head, to the fucking whatever sock he wears on his toes. Everything about Tom Brady. He's too perfect. Okay? Do you want, like, he's too pure.
I think this might be your problem. I don't think this is.
You're right.
I don't think.
You're right.
Yeah, this isn't a Tom Brady issue.
You're right, because he doesn't have an issue, because he's perfect.
I mean, it's just like one of those things where I'm like, yeah, listen, I understand he's not exactly helping the Lions win a championship, but the Lions aren't exactly in contention anyways. So what do you care who wins the championship right now? You know what I mean?
Because I don't want to go watch some old saggy fuck just go out and do it every year.
However, that old saggy fuck is doing it better than any other player in the entire league.
That's great. Good for him.
I feel like
Like,
you want to watch the best product. Like if a 50-year-old guy was hitting home runs more than any other person in the MLB, it is what it is. I'd be like, well, that guy's still hitting fucking home runs, and I like watching home runs.
well, I don't like watching. I like watching football. I don't like a sport that doesn't have any parity, where the same person goes out and wins a championship every 2 or 3 years.
That's just it. It's weird because I feel like the NFL, especially last year, had the most parity it's ever had, and we've seen so many new
Yeah,
teams
you're
coming
right.
and going, and this and that, whatever.
And
Tom's
last,
just better than them all.
great.
It is what it
I
is.
I don't want to talk about him anymore. I don't give a fuck about him. Whatever the Buccaneers do this year,
Oh,
I can
you
give.
give a huge fuck about him. That is the
No,
entire
I
problem
don't.
of
No,
this.
I don't want. No,
You give
I
maybe more of a fuck about him than you ever should.
I give a fuck when he's on my TV and I don't want him to be, okay? Otherwise, happy place, happy thoughts, whatever. I just hope he
You
gets.
would much rather watch Jared Goff.
I hope that his leg Thanos snaps in half and that he has a Achilles ACL combined injury that makes Clay Thompson look like he could go to a freaking bouncy castle. My
I
God
mean,
dang.
I feel like in this way, like if that, let's say that happened, or let's say he just stayed retired. If Patrick Mahomes goes and wins the next 5 Super Bowls, then you're just gonna feel the same way about Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, but like not now. Like at least it's not Tom Brady, and I'd take solace in that. I would take a lot of solace in that.
I think you're pathetic.
Robert,
To
we
be quite
both know
honest,
we both know that's the truth, okay? We both know I don't have any solid ground to stand on.
that's
I'm
fine. You're
I'm just
falling in quicksand. Let's move on to the Raider
I'm
report.
just angry, okay? Like
That's fair.
so literally I saw the Batman. I went and saw
Oh, I
Matt
did too.
Reeves. Yeah, I went and it was great. And I found literally
Fine.
what's that?
I said it was fine. We'll talk about that next. Continue.
Anyway, fucking you and goddamn. Anyway, I'm like enjoying myself. You know, it's like the 1 month of life where Tom Brady's not involved, and then Tom
Jesus
Brady's
Christ.
coming back. LLFG. Like I don't know. To me, the thing that's the most annoying is that he clearly never seemed like he was firm on retiring, but retired anyway. And then
Although
even
I never
after,
said the word retired.
but even then, the Instagram post was just fucking stupid. The whole Schefter report was just fucking stupid. Like whatever. Like it just felt like we all just like collectively gave Tom Brady's ego a huge hand job for like a month for nothing. Like now it's just, oh, I'm not retired. Okay. Well, the next time you go out, it's like I'm not gonna buy you another wedding gift when you already called off your wedding. Like I'm just annoyed. Okay, I like
That
when,
is fair.
like
The
especially
retiring and unretiring is whack.
it's especially whack when you have a guy like Tom Brady when it's like because to me it's especially whack when you have this storied career, you can just go off and ride off into the sunset, and there is literally like if you come back, all you're doing is making the rest of your career like there's even if you goes out and plays well and like just doesn't win a Super Bowl, it's just another year. And like I know again, it's not about that. It's about him wanting. It's the love of the game and like defying like expectations, like all this kind of stuff. Like I get it, like whatever. But like he's competing against himself. He doesn't know what else he wants to do. All that's fine, and I get it. It just feels whack to me. Like it just feels.
It is
whack.
a little bit whack. I do the only way that I could give him any benefit of the doubt is that I wonder if in some way he truly felt like he had reached this point and his wife probably was telling him, listen,
Right.
it's time. And I just wonder if, he found himself just having further conversations with her and just went like, listen, babe, like I'm not going to be able to do it forever. And I'm still doing it at MVP level. Like you got to let me do this for as long as I can until I suck. And then I'm going to have 50 more years with you to do this, that, and whatever. And at some point she must've just caved or whatever was affecting her, that. I think I think he did it with sincerity, and I think that he just found himself realizing like
I feel
I
like
wonder if I wonder how much outside pressure was almost forcing him into it, and then he just went, "What am I doing? I'm Tom fucking Brady. I
I
stop when I."
I think he was trying to force his way into the 49ers. There's no way that like because to me like it just felt like the Buccaneers just never budge. You're like, okay, well if you're playing, you're a Buccaneer. We own your contract rights. Like I just to me it felt like the only way you go out and make that post and like you're still like, oh, I can't rule it out. Like it definitely felt like Tampa wasn't his first choice, right? Like
There's
he,
definitely a small part of that. The only way that I feel like that can't be it is only because of like he did almost instantly come back, and it's very clear, especially now with all the free agents coming back, that he's all in with the Bucks. And I feel
well
like if
now he
he,
is, yeah. Now that
it,
that's his choice, like
well,
now
sure, but I feel like if he didn't want to be there that bad, why do this whole charade for a month?
because he's Tom Brady. That's why. You don't need any other answer. Tom Brady does things in the most fucking Tom Brady way possible. Like anything conventional that you think would just be easy and like you can just handle. No, it's Tom Brady. Nope, can't happen that way. It's like I don't know. Like I know Tom Brady's not this premature diva, but like this felt pretty fucking Aaron Rodgers like. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It seems slightly odd. I do feel like someday we will get the answer, probably a few years from now when he is truly retired. I think he will sort of unveil kind of what really was going on behind the scenes. Because I have found like, especially with the man in the arena and stuff like that, he has opened up about his years with the Patriots and kind of told the truth about things that, he was a little more quiet about during those years. So I do wonder like, once he's done with the Buccaneers, if he would kind of open up and say, oh, well, yeah, I was trying to do this, or, oh, it wasn't what everyone thinks it was, or, whatever. But,
Can
I
I
don't
just
think we will know for a little while. What's
Can I
up?
just read something that's really funny? I just saw this tweet from Colin
Do it.
Cowherd. This is the dumbest tweet I've ever read in my entire life. Sources tell me Lincoln Riley first USC practice was flawless. One observer noted, some are calling it the greatest practice ever on a college campus. Like,
We talking about practice?
we're talking about the first practice that USC had with Lincoln Riley as their coach. Day one.
We're
We're
talking
already
about practice.
we just called syllabus day the greatest practice to ever happen on a college campus.
We're not talking about the game.
We're not
We're
talking
talking
about
about
we are dead ass talking about practice.
practice.
Colin Cowherd felt that it was necessary to put out there that people are calling Lincoln Riley's first practice the greatest practice in the history of a college campus.
I have some thoughts about this very quickly. Number one, as a Notre Dame fan, they can all go fuck themselves because I fucking hate USC with a burning passion. They are Notre Dame's Ohio State. Secondly,
Wow, that seems
um,
pathetic, Robert. Why would you hate? Why would you hate? They're just trying to win. They're just going out. They're just playing for the love. They're
very
just pure.
different. You know
You're the
that.
one that's pathetic.
They had the Bush push, God damn it, and Cheat Carroll knows it.
Oh, Bill Belichick. He doesn't exist.
Bill Belichick was never on Notre Dame, so I'm clean. Uh,
He was never in Tampa Bay either. Yeah, you're pure.
We are talking about USC. No, so the point was is that I know you feel differently, but this is why I hate Colin Cowherd. I can't stand him. I've never been able to stand him. I think he is one of the most annoying fucking people in the entire media. I can't stand this fucking guy. But
Yeah.
I know you feel differently, and that's okay.
Well, I like him. Like I don't hate him or anything.
I'm very aware.
Like like I like there's like takes that he has or like even I'm like, all right, Colin, like anytime he opens his mouth about LeBron, like I just have to turn off. And there's just times where he talks about basketball, I'm just like, all right, Colin, like you just don't know what you're talking about. Like you just don't.
I think he is almost the exact same as Max Kellerman, in my opinion.
Yeah, for me, like I do believe that Colin generally means what he says. To me, it's the guys like Skip Bayless that are just trying to get
Yep.
people riled up. And even Stephen A. Smith, all the videos of people literally having Stephen A. argue against himself, which like
I can't with him anymore. I'm done with Stephen A. Smith.
well, yeah, it's the whole first take culture. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's great morning debate shows. You know, like the Morning Woodward show. But but it's one of those things where it just gets fucking old. You know what I mean? Like these, like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like that's one thing I like about our channel and the things that we do now. Like I genuinely think we talk about topics that people actually care about, and like I don't ever say anything I don't believe. You don't
Like
say
bread placement.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like you don't ever say anything you don't believe. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, no, for sure. And like we have very good heated debates that I think are very productive, like we've had
yeah,
in this episode, to where it's like these types of episodes I think are great in some ways, because I think that we're two very different sports fans in the way that
yep.
we either consume it, and the way that we root for things, and the way that we think about teams and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
and whatever. And I think that it's interesting because obviously, there's going to be fans that feel more like I do or more like you do. And it's
Right.
just kind of interesting to hear the two perspectives. And
Mm-hmm.
then also in a very genuine way, because we are both two genuine fans that really believe the things we're saying versus, guys who are just kind of trying to, I don't know, stir up ratings or whatever the
Right.
fuck.
Well, yeah, because it's it when you can truly get to when you can get an emotional response from a listener, that's what people are looking for. And like I try to find that through truth and through talking about sports in the way that I think they need to be talked about. And some people, I just think they find the quickest way to do it. Like I even found there's like YouTube channels where like literally like there's NBA channels, or the entire purpose of the NBA channel is they either do shooting challenges or they go to a
Yes.
certain amount of NBA games in a certain amount of days. And it's them literally just sitting in an NBA arena just going, "Oh, they scored. Oh, they did this. Oh, now we go to the next one. Oh," like that's literally all it is. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like to me, like I could tell when people aren't real and when people are like, to me, it's like that shit's just so stupid to me, man. Like to me,
For sure.
it's about the
Anyways, we had a slight technical error there, but we're back with the Raider report, which is that, of course, my beloved Silver and Black have gotten Devontae
well,
Adams,
yeah. It's not only the
and
fact that
it's awesome.
it's not only the fact that like we have something good to report on the Raider report. It's the fact that there's anything to say at all, and let alone that there's good things to say. The
Very good things to say. The
our
Fresno State boys are coming back together. Derek Carr and Devontae Adams.
our longest running segment on a Detroit focused podcast that is about nothing to do with Detroit.
Once a Raider, always a Raider, baby.
I guess. Have I ever been I've never been a Raider?
You've never been a Raider. I've always been a Raider. I'll have to. Well, we won't read this episode, but I was gonna say there's a fucking picture of me as a little baby with a Raiders jersey on.
I
But
think you're the only Raiders fan a part of it like, that's involved in this podcast in any way.
that's fine. I'm good with that. Go Raiders, baby. It's
Uh,
about winning. You have to win.
so
And I'm excited about this, man.
yeah.
I'm very, very, very excited about this. They've
Now,
retooled a little bit. They've made the defense better. Now our offense is significantly better.
if I
I'm
may,
very excited.
if I may,
Go for it.
I would love to tackle this from a certain angle that makes me very happy. And it is
Is
that
it because it ruins Aaron Rodgers' day?
oh, Aaron Rodgers, you fucking moron. Oh, it's so
Allegedly, he knew this.
Oh, it's so good. You sign this big ass contract. You make it very known that you want Devontae around. And now, I mean, sure, you have a ton of draft capital and they can go out and they can make some things happen. However, the Packers receiving core is so bad. And Devontae Adams was so valuable. I just cannot believe. I just
So
can't
are we
believe
calling bullshit on him because he claims that he didn't sign the contract? until like
Of
he
course.
knew Devontae was allegedly he knew Devontae was gone and signed the contract anyway. Are we
Of
calling
course.
bullshit on that?
Of course. Of course. I think, I mean, first of all, I mean, if he still signed that contract and knew that Devontae was not going to be there, then either he's stupid
Hmm.
or they have some plan that we don't know about.
I was
Now,
just gonna say because like something wasn't his whole point and why he was mad at the Packers was because they don't give him enough offensive talent.
yes, it was literally because they don't have enough players in prominent skill positions. They didn't give him enough talent to get him over the hump. Well, now you had Devontae Adams. You signed this contract, and apparently you knew he was going to be gone, and you had no problem with it.
That's what I don't understand.
Bullshit.
Something is very
Well,
wrong
if I'm the
here.
Raiders, I'm almost like I'm sitting here like, really? Like you seriously? Like you're gonna let that guy come over here? Because like,
Yep.
I mean, this first of all, Derek Carr, congratulations. You are gonna have a Kirk Cousins caliber year next year. Where Kirk Cousins, like how like everyone's like, oh, this guy's not that good, but then he goes out and lights up the freaking stat sheet.
For sure.
Like I think he's gonna get like a lot of respect and a lot of looks from that because I mean
Mm.
I think this makes the Raiders offense way more legitimate. I mean, people are saying, oh well, that like skill guys don't really like matter as much, but like if you look, I mean, look at the Bengals. Look at literally how they got there. Look at how big of a difference Odell Beckham Jr. was. Like how much of their
Yes.
offense predicated on Cooper Kupp. Like
Mm-hmm.
having a guy that talented in your wide receiving core, it's only good things for the Raiders. And on the Packers side, you might not even win your division. And it very much can come down to because and especially if Aaron Rodgers isn't the Aaron Rodgers that we expect him to be, and he doesn't have guys to throw it to, this contract gets really expensive really quickly.
Yep.
And this was not I think the odds of Aaron Rodgers winning a Super Bowl have only gone down.
100%. And I think that this has made it a lot easier for my team, so I'm very happy.
Uh-huh.
What this also does is this is gonna sound stupid to some people, but I don't give a fuck. The Bengals and the Raiders are basically the same team. I really felt like they
Yeah.
were basically equal in that
Yeah.
playoff game. And now that the Raiders have him and have also made their defense better, remember.
Right.
Now, of course, the Bengals are also shoring up their offensive line, whatever.
I
But the point
also
is,
I also would still
they're
trust
very similar.
I would also trust Joe Burrow though more than Derek Carr. Like Derek Carr's clutch.
Easily. Easily.
Derek Carr's clutch, but I think that is the one difference of Joe Burrow. Like Derek Carr has a great floor. Joe
Yes.
Burrow has an insane ceiling.
I think Joe Burrow's the next Tom Brady. I've said that many times.
Yeah.
But I
I cannot dispute you on that,
yes,
but please stop saying those words because I want to like him. Call him the
fair
next
enough.
Joe Montana. Call him the next Joe Montana.
He's better than that. He's better than that. And
Fuck
I
yeah.
love Joe Montana as a Notre Dame guy. I love Joe Montana, but it's different.
He's the next Joe Montana. Anyway.
That's fair. But the point is that I just really think that this gives the Raiders a really, really good opportunity, especially if this new coach really is able to come in and be
Yeah.
what he should have been and very much wasn't with the Broncos back in the
Right.
day. I'm hoping that he is much better than that. But yeah, I mean, this should help the Raiders really. At least they'll make the playoffs, and in the playoffs, just about anything can happen, as we saw with the
Yeah.
Bengals last year.
Now,
And they also have the scripted NFL way things are going, where the Buccaneers won at home, the Rams won at home, and now the Raiders can win at home.
yeah.
So
Well,
it's part of the script at this point.
I think this is where that script can stop. But no, in all seriousness, I just hope my one thing with crowning them, first of all, the thing I don't think we're talking about enough, giving Josh McDaniels an offensive weapon like
Mm.
like him to work with, Devontae Adams, like he is a special wide receiver.
Yes.
And there is no world where I can see Green Bay because like, yeah, you can look at Aaron Rodgers' record without Devontae Adams and historically he still wins games without Devontae. He's like 10-1 without Devontae, but like, let's be honest, that team's way better with him on that roster. And I don't think your division's getting easier. I think
No.
Chicago's going full rebuild. Minnesota is, Minnesota can very much win that division.
They're a
And
very solid,
and
solidly built, mediocre team.
yeah,
They're good.
in
They're
the
very
yeah,
good.
in the Lions, like they're not going to be last place in the division, but at the same time, they're going to be better than last year. They won't be a 3-win team next year.
I am very bullish on them this upcoming season.
Yeah,
Very bullish.
I'm looking forward to what I'm seeing. I actually really like Brad Holmes. I like Dan Campbell. I trust whatever they decide to do with that number 2 overall pick. However, I will say I saw that throw from Malik Willis in his pro day today, and I can't lie, that man has a cannon. Like, holy cow. But
yeah, I'm very bullish on the Lions. I actually predict that they will have a 500 season this season.
Okay. I think they're gonna go like 6-7 wins. I always try to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I try to temper my expectations. I'm hoping I can be in Detroit for some more games this year. I know Woodward generally has some tickets, so I'm hoping I can make it out to some more games this year for sure. But it's gonna be, yeah. I'm excited. It feels like there's actually a positive direction in the Lions organization for once.
Yeah, I have very, very good things to say about them, to be honest, because, I mean, last season I had nothing but bad things to say about them going into the season. I was proven right pretty much the whole year until they started to get good, which was awesome. I was very surprised, very pleasantly surprised by how the team looked.
I'm just ready for the draft to get behind us. Like,
Same.
I'm one of those people where, like, draft coverage is great for like the first month, and then like
it becomes a slog.
And then the second 5 months just becomes a little more difficult for me. Now I actually, Woodward is a network that they go hard on draft coverage, and they actually do have some good draft coverage. Like some of the people that I listen to, like, all the respect in the world. Even Jeff Iafrate, one of the who just joined the channel. One of the things that I said to him was, dude, I'm glad you're here. And like, one of the things, it's like, yeah, like you don't really have like an agenda of what you have to talk about every day. Like you don't have to come up with different ways of saying who you want the Lions to draft second overall 5 days a week. You know what I mean? Like that'll be a nice benefit for him being over here. So, it's just, to me, like, again, like I'm super excited to see who we draft. It's probably going to be, I know right now it sounds like the Jaguars are probably going to go Aiden Hutchinson because they did go offensive line heavy in free agency. So whoever we draft from there, like whether it's the other edge rusher, whether we actually take the quarterback, whatever we do, I trust him. So,
as a Notre Dame fan, you know exactly who I want the Lions to take. But here's my thing.
I just don't like taking a safety number two overall. That's my thing.
I 100% get that.
Like
1,000% get that.
It's the value in return. Now, granted, you generally want to take who the best player available is. Like we have good safeties, and I would argue
that's the other part of it.
Yeah, and I would argue the other thing I would argue is that I think generally speaking, the front line generally impacts like I think a good pass rush can shield a not great secondary.
Right.
A great secondary can play great, but if they don't have like a pass rush, even like they'll have time to find those weaknesses. You know what I mean? So like watching like people forget, like the Rams, they literally just won Super Bowls with Eric Weddle calling plays for them, being a guy who was retired for 2 years.
With a fucked up shoulder.
Like literally taped up to hell's shoulder, calling plays for them. Like that, if anything, it shows that, like, I mean, obviously, some of the greatest defenses of all time have been backed by elite safeties. You know what I mean? Like Rodney Harrison of the Colts, Ed Reed of the Ravens. But
believe me, I know about elite defenses that won a championship.
But here's the thing. You know what they also had? They had elite guys in front of them that made their jobs easier. So, True. So in my opinion, I just it's got to be a pass rusher or it's got to be a quarterback. That's the value. You draft a top two. It's got to be one of the two. That's just my opinion. But also, what the hell do I know? We haven't done it right before. So hey, if you really think it's the safety, what can I say to argue against you? You know what I mean?
I agree. I will say this. I think when it comes to draft coverage in general for any sport, my thing is that there's usually so much going on in a different sport. And since I'm just a little too stupid for all the front office bullshit, I'm like, listen, I'm just like, because here's the thing: as much as I get made fun of for my bandwagon or whatever, I have my teams, and I'm not going to
Right.
jump for my teams. So I
Right.
just have to hope that my team
Well,
is going to do the right thing. I'm just gonna hope that my team does the right thing, and if they don't, what am I going to do about it anyways? So I've moved on. Like I hope that the Buccaneers get better. I hope the Raiders get better. If
uh-huh.
they don't, that sucks, but I'm probably already pissed about the Yankees or the Tigers or some dumb shit already
It
anyways.
it
So
was
it's
just
like I've
the
moved on.
it was just the well, like even you like you and I
Well, it
both
was the
yeah.
like, yeah, whatever.
I I'm just giving you crap.
Oh,
I'm just
100%,
I'm
100%,
just giving you shit.
100%.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, man, it is what it is. So I'm
Yeah.
just hoping that the Bucks get better, the Raiders get better, and of course for my friends like you that the Lions get better because I like the Lions.
I
I'm
mean,
fine with them.
listen, you're gonna have fun when the Lions are good.
Oh,
When the
100%,
when the Lions
100%.
win a Super Bowl, you and I are both gonna be like, giving like a warm embrace. Like it's gonna be,
Oh, dude,
oh,
it,
oh,
people will think that I've been like a lifelong Lion fan because I'll be crying because the thing of it is that it's like it's when your hometown wins a championship, whether you follow them or not, or whether you have a separate team or not, is really
yeah,
beyond the point because it feels like your home won.
yeah, because you did it's like, and that's why for me, like that's why I've always had a hard time in any sport rooting for a team that wasn't my own. Obviously, like
Fair.
like with Matt Stafford, like that's different because that's a guy that was my own for so long.
Exactly. It kind
Yeah.
of made them into your home. Yeah, that makes
Exactly.
sense.
Yeah, exactly. So, otherwise, like in the NBA, like obviously I still root for players. And the part
Yeah,
of the reason why I still love if I only loved the NBA when the Pistons were good, I would not have loved the NBA for quite some time. But yeah,
it's been a while.
so
Holy
yeah,
shit.
so that's why for me, like that's why like baseball is, like I said, that's why it's tough when my team isn't winning because like I like it's hard to find MLB games that are on all the time, and even when they are, it's 1 in 162. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, whatever happens, you always move on. Like whatever happens on April 17th might not always affect what's happening in October. You know what I mean?
Sure. I think it
You can
definitely
make the
also
same
just
you can make the same argument though in basketball. You can make the same argument though in the NHL. Like that's 100%.
it just
It's
depends on what sport you
yeah,
like.
it's just the quantity of baseball. Now I will say I'm excited. I got my tickets. I'm going to opening day.
Nice.
It even worked out to where someone had a free ticket for a game the next day too. So I'm going to opening day and day 2 for the
Nice.
Tigers. So I'm pumped for that.
In early August, we're going to Minnesota, and we're gonna see the Twins
Dude.
probably play the Tigers. That's what we're eyeballing. Otherwise, I forget who they play after that. But either way, we're gonna see the Twins versus somebody, but it will likely be the
Yeah,
Tigers.
I get to see the White Sox
Um,
too, and the White Sox are good, right?
they are very good. Yes.
Hell yeah, that's gonna be
Um,
awesome.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited. I've been wanting to go to Target Field for a while. I just feel like it's a really beautiful place. The Twins, it's one of those teams where I'm just like I feel like, yeah, I like the Twins. It's like one of those like, yeah, sure, fuck
Yeah,
it. But I just like baseball, so I'm like
yeah,
I want to hit every ballpark.
yeah.
To me it's like, yeah, I'm a Yankees fan, I'm a Tigers fan, whatever, but it's like ultimately I'm kind of a baseball fan where I'm like I just
Uh-huh.
want to go watch baseball.
Well,
I
yeah.
don't give a fuck who's playing. I just want to watch
Well, how
baseball.
you are with baseball is how I am with basketball. And like I
Exactly.
also want to go to all the MLB parks too though. That would be awesome.
That'd
I've
be
only
sick.
been to a couple so far, and the ones I've been to have been incredible.
Yeah, you literally went to the best one.
Yeah, PNC.
PNC. It's
Mhm.
unbelievable. It's
Yeah.
really the most gorgeous place on earth
Oh my
almost.
god, it's
I mean,
stunning.
it's really
It
unbelievable.
is stunning. It is absolute like the view was the best view I've ever had at a ballpark. It was insane. Like it
It's insane that it is the best ballpark, maybe the best stadium in sports with the worst team
oh,
of all time.
oh dude, they are so bad. There is
Laughable.
nothing redeemable about you know what they are? They're the Sacramento Kings of baseball.
Yes. Si, senor.
Like they are the Sacramento Kings, or it's like they have all these, ooh, look, shiny toy. It's like, cool. Is your team good? Like, of course not. What are you expecting? We're the Sacramento Kings. Like, how dare you? Like, that's not what we do here.
Exactly. Like the Yankees paid $1 zillion to have Garrett Cole.
Mm-hmm.
Where was Garrett Cole originally? The Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh,
And then he went to Houston,
Garrett.
was really good there for a while, and then the Yankees got him.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, Garrett Cole started out as a Pirate.
By the way, can we just call? How did Carlos Correa end up in Minnesota?
I know, dude. What's funny
Like,
is I've been wanting to hit one of their games for a while, and we were literally making the plans. And then I saw him go to the Twins, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "I mean, that's cool for my trip because
yeah.
now I don't have to watch a shitty Twins team. I get to watch a
Well,
decent one."
yeah, and
But like, what the fuck?
that's where he wanted to end up with it being a 3-year contract where they each year has an opt out. Yeah, that's love. Each great relationship starts with a buyout at every year.
So here's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
What happened is that because of the lockout, he didn't get to have the
Actual bidding war.
celebrity treatment. Yeah, that
Yeah.
celebrity sort of teams fawning over him, offering these $1 zillion contracts, whatever.
Right.
He's literally just punting it to next year when every team's going to kind of know what their financials look like a little bit better. And some team is going to pay him $1 zillion. And he's just waiting
Yeah.
until next year because there just wasn't enough time with this offseason.
That
And
makes
even then,
sense.
he might even just get traded somewhere during the trade deadline, finish the year on some random ass team, opt out, and then then he'll get paid either way
It,
tons and tons of money.
it
So I
really
think he's just punting.
it really sounds like the only team he had any actual long-term conversations with was the Tigers. And then they decided that they didn't want to pay the money, and so they went and got Javier Baez, which, I mean, Javi's, I still think Javi's going to be fun. I think Spencer Torkelson is going to be great. Riley Green's looked really good in spring training so far. So I'm excited.
The Tigers are going to be just fine. They're going to make it to the World Series in the next couple of years. I
Yep.
think they make the playoffs easily this year. I think they
Yeah.
definitely, I am very bullish on the Tigers this year. They definitely, I think, make the playoffs.
And even Al Avila said he wants to trade. He wants to be able to trade for a player at the deadline. He wants to be in the position where they can trade and actually get that piece to get him over the top at the deadline. So you never know. So
I don't think it will, but it could be Carlos Correa.
I never know. They could.
And I do think that, I don't think that deal did not fall through because the Tigers cheaped out. That deal fell through because Carlos Correa wanted to wait until the last second for whatever he wanted. He wanted to have 30 offers and from every team.
Yeah, but the Tigers wanted it done before the lockout.
Exactly. Yeah. I think he wants to have the red carpet treatment of ooh, I want every team to be bidding and fighting over me and see who wants it the most. And I think that he'll decide then, and he's going to do it next year, and it still could be the Tigers. I don't think it will be, but we'll see. You never know.
Yeah.
So we'll see what ends up happening. He could even just end up going back to the Astros if they decide, okay, this was a bad idea. We need you back.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
But I totally get your fandom where you're a Tigers fan, not a baseball fan. Whereas I'm kind of a Pistons Heat fan and not so much a basketball fan. I can't watch Kings.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say Kings Suns, but the Suns are actually good now. But even still, I can't watch that shit. I can't do it.
I can't watch Orioles Reds. You know what I mean?
Oh, I could watch that all day. I could watch that all day. All day. But yeah, for sure. If it was Timberwolves, fucking Magic, there's no way I would kill myself. There's just no fucking way. Oh my lord. God. Basically any team versus the Magic. Even when it's my team against the Magic, I'm always like, God damn it.
They're so bad. They're bad.
So unbearable to watch. I hate that team so much.
They gave up one night 60 points to Kyrie Irving, and then the next game gave up 51 to Sadiq Bey.
It's so awesome. I love it.
It's so great.
Does that mean Sadiq Bey is Kyrie Irving?
Yes.
Who says no?
Who says no?
That's
Other than, which funny enough, the Nets traded away the pick that they technically drafted Sadiq Bey and traded that pick to us. So they could have had Sadiq Bey, but Said we do. So,
LOLOL.
so we'll take that and laugh to the bank, eh?
Will do.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
Sean, we are very close to NBA playoffs. I cannot wait because I'm going to watch a lot of that with you.
Oh,
I
it's gonna
intend
be
to
so
have
good.
some fun pizza nights, watching some basketball with my boy. That's going to be awesome.
Oh, hell yeah.
We're also somewhat close to hockey playoffs. Not quite. We'll get
Mm-hmm.
there. I'm very much looking forward to that. That's going to be dope.
Oh, hell yeah.
I will be rooting hard for the New York Rangers because the Red Wings have unfortunately kind of petered out and they're not probably going to make it, which is fine
Oh
because
yeah,
we're going
they've
to win Stanley Cups in the
yeah.
future. I'm not worried.
Well, they
And the
kind of
Golden Knights are dead. So,
they're just AFK.
well, the problem is that when every single one of your star players is on the injured reserve, like you can't win games. Like you
Oh
just can't.
yeah. Yep,
And
that'll
it's not
do
their
it.
fault. I'm not even mad at them. I'm just kind of in one of those positions where I'm like, well, that sucks, but it's not like those guys chose to be hurt. So I
Right.
can't even be mad at them. It is what it is. But I'm a bigger hockey fan than I am of any single team other than maybe the Red Wings. So I guess my bandwagon team's the Rangers. So fuck it. I'm just here for good hockey. Tis what it is.
Right. Yeah, I'm dude, this NBA playoffs is setting up to be an insane postseason. I am just
Yeah, the NBA is looking pretty good.
oh, it's gonna be so good.
It's gonna be so good.
Also, another thing, we hit 400 subscribers on From Half Court.
I don't know if you can hear the clapping, but I am very excited about that. That's awesome.
Me too, man.
And I'm also way more excited for you in general because you are doing awesome
Thanks, man.
stuff.
Thanks, man. I
So
appreciate it. Yeah, it's pretty vindicating, man. Officially a paid member of Woodward Sports, which
hell yeah.
yeah, which took a bit to get there, and feels good to get that recognition, but just getting started, man. Cool stuff's happening on this channel. Cool stuff's happening in life in general. So it's one of those things where it's like this is where I'm at in 3 months. I can only imagine what another 3 months is gonna look like.
You've earned it.
It's gonna be bizarre, man. So I'm just excited to be on the journey.
For sure. Well, my friend, I love you as always.
Oh, I love you too,
And
man.
I'm gonna go play some Elden Ring. I'm looking
Hell
forward to
yeah.
that.
Hell yeah.
I've been having fun with that lately.
I've been having to poop this entire podcast, so I am excited. This has been maybe explains why I was so angry at the Tom Brady take, but
that's just how you are. I love to push your buttons on that one.
and some of it's just I'm just getting crabby and I just don't want it to
for
be
sure.
there. Yeah,
It's good content.
It's great content. Exactly. It's fantastic content, and it's content you should like and subscribe to.
Yes, you should. All right. Well, I'm gonna go get my ass kicked in Elden Ring. So, peace out, my friend. I love you.